Hi everyone, Mark here from Cleeve, and we've got this week's weekly news wrap-up for the week ending the 17th of May. It's Saturday while I'm recording this, and this week we've included the Final Furlong podcast again. Now it's a bit of a lengthy one, it's 1 hour 52 minutes, but it's well worth a listen to. There's a very good review of the French racing that took place earlier this week. Now, this was published 3 days ago. There's quite a good review, say, of the French racing, where some of the hot pots got turned over, such as Victor Ladorum, who now, interestingly, is 4-1 for the French 2000 Guineas, drifting out from 13 to 8. Looking at odds checker, it's still all fifth odds, so you can't quite get quarter odds anywhere. So, but 4-1's a big price considering it was 13 to 8 before the race earlier this week. That really brings on to something at Cleeve that we've been discussing internally, is that some of these horses got beat. Were they ready? It's very difficult to train horses, as Kennedy says in the Final Furlong podcast, when you don't really know when they're going to be running. And at the moment, especially with the UK racing, there's no firm dates yet of when racing is going to resume behind closed doors. So trainers are guessing, are their horses going to be fit and ready to run? Are they going to be getting them ready on the race course? So what we've proposed internally at Cleeve, and we're going to put out to the members later on, is that for the first month, we're not going to switch subscriptions back on. We're going to do everything for free and just wait for things to settle down, because we do think the form might be a bit topsy-turvy in the early days, and it's going to be very difficult to make sure that the form's correct as it should be, and we can see some upsets along the way. So we're going to do things for free for a month, and we're going to be announcing that sooner or later before racing starts. There's quite a good insight into American racing on here on the Final Furlong podcast, how they've handled things and how things have gone over in America, and maybe we could learn some lessons from them. And in there, Emmett Kennedy does give the HRI a bit of a berating about how they've handled when racing is going to start. They were quite shocked to think, the HRA, that they were included in phase 3 in Ireland of the resumption of things, which was the 29th of June. Now, they were talking about starting, I think, was it this week or last week? So that was a bit of a shock, but they've obviously been back since then. That leads on to the next article that we put up about Irish racing set to return on June the 8th. They managed to have some negotiations with the government and the Agriculture Ministry, which they come under, and managed to drag it forward by 3 weeks. Emmett Kennedy's rant or berating of the HRI sort of falls on stony ground when they've managed to pull it back by 3 weeks. That's the Final Furlong podcast and the Irish racing set to return on June the 8th. The next one, Hugh Taylor and Kevin Blake's betting masterclass. Now, I strongly recommend that you watch this. They cover everything from initially the V word, which is that old chestnut looking for value, and what is value, why you should be doing it, and what type of bettor are you. And there's a very good summation by Hugh Taylor about what he thinks value is and why he ports himself to be a value bettor. And the other thing in there that they're strongly focused on is keeping records. Now, on that score, we will be releasing shortly, it's just in final development now, beta version 2.0 is being developed, of our bet tracker, because we went out to the marketplace and looked for a decent bet tracker that we could give to members, and we couldn't find one. So in the end, we've spent some money and we've had one developed. So you'll be seeing that shortly, and you'll be getting an email letting you know that you can. It's going to be free for everybody, so you can download it and start using it. But I do strongly recommend you go ahead and watch Hugh Taylor and Kevin Blake's betting masterclass, because it does give you insights onto how people such as these guys who make a living from it, how they go about the game and how they make money out of it, basically. And they cover things from losing runs, winning runs, your staking system, your banking system, and keeping records and looking for value. So it's well worth the watch. Again, another Hugh Taylor one, looking at his early betting years and when he started in 1986. So it gives you quite a good insight into, how he works and how he's got to where he is today. Just to reiterate, in his previous video, he says he backs all his tips he puts on at the races himself, and he very rarely has a bet outside of those. So, he's warts and all. Everybody can see what he's doing. But again, when you listen to him, it's about looking for value. And if you did everything at SP, you wouldn't be making the profits he's making. Conveniently, the Sporting Life has put together on a single post or page all the stable tours. So if you want to go and dip into those, that's all on one page now. Finally, we've got another great article from the GG team that looks at John Gosden's debutantes. They've had a few articles about debutantes recently, and again, they're well worth going back and rereading, because obviously with the lockdown and the lack of racing, this comes to the fore even more, because you can be looking at trainers who are very good at getting horses ready for races, and they don't basically get them ready on the track. So, this could be quite a good thing in your armoury to go back and look at these types of horses and these trainers that are very good at getting their debutants ready for a race. So that's this week's weekly news wrap up. As I say, we'll be looking to release our bet tracker over the next couple of weeks, so keep your eyes out for that. Stay safe, keep well, and we hope you're all surviving and still sane through this lockdown period, which none of us know when it's going to end. And we'll be back next week with next week's weekly review.